In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, an old mansion stood abandoned. Its crumbling walls and broken windows whispered tales of the past. Among the villagers, it was known as the Manor of Shadows. For years, no one dared to approach it. The stories of eerie sounds, flickering lights, and ghostly apparitions kept even the bravest souls at bay. But curiosity got the better of young Emily. An avid history enthusiast, she was drawn to the mansion's dark allure and the mystery that surrounded it. One foggy evening, armed with a flashlight and her journal, Emily ventured into the mansion. The wooden door creaked open, revealing a grand foyer layered with dust and cobwebs. As she explored the decaying halls, she stumbled upon a room that seemed untouched by time. In the center of the room lay a large, ornate chest, covered in a thick, dark cloth. Emily's heart raced with excitement. This could be the discovery of a lifetime. She cautiously approached the chest, removing the cloth to reveal intricate carvings and an old, rusted lock. With trembling hands, she picked the lock, and the chest opened with a groan. Inside, she found old photographs, letters, and peculiar artifacts. But it was the small, velvet pouch at the bottom that caught her eye. As she opened it, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing her flashlight. Panic set in as she fumbled to turn it back on. When the light finally flickered back to life, she saw them. Shadows danced around her, their shapes growing clearer by the second. Ghostly figures emerged, their faces twisted in anguish. Emily tried to run, but the room seemed to warp and stretch, trapping her within its haunted confines. The spirits circled her, whispering in an ancient tongue, their voices filled with sorrow and anger. She realized too late that the chest was not a mere artifact but a vessel, a prison for the tormented souls who once inhabited the mansion. By opening it, she had set them free, and they were not grateful. The villagers never saw Emily again. They spoke of strange lights and ghostly wails coming from the manor, but no one dared to investigate. The story of the Shrouded Chest became another tale of caution, a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. Years passed, and the legend of Emily and the Shrouded Chest faded into a chilling bedtime story for the children of the village. However, for one young man, the tale was not just a story but an obsession. Michael, Emily's younger brother, grew up determined to uncover the truth about what had happened to his sister. Michael spent years studying the history of the Manor of Shadows and the mysterious chest. He delved into old records, interviewed the elderly villagers, and even consulted with paranormal experts. Every clue pointed him back to that fateful night and the chest that had swallowed his sister. Armed with modern equipment and a resolve hardened by years of loss, Michael set out to the mansion one stormy night. The air was thick with tension as he approached the decrepit building. The door, still slightly ajar from Emily's intrusion, creaked ominously as he entered. Using his flashlight and a handheld camcorder, Michael retraced Emily's steps, meticulously documenting everything. When he reached the room with the chest, he found it exactly as Emily had left it, the velvet pouch still lying open beside it. He knelt by the chest, his hands shaking as he examined the contents. Suddenly, a gust of wind slammed the door shut, and the room plunged into darkness. Michael's flashlight flickered, and in the dim light, he saw the same ghostly figures that had confronted Emily. But unlike his sister, Michael was prepared. He pulled out a vial of holy water and began chanting a protection prayer he had learned from an old mystic. The spirits recoiled, their whispers turning into agonized screams. The room shook as the spectral figures lunged at him, but the holy water created a barrier, keeping them at bay. Michael continued his chant, his voice unwavering despite the chaos around him. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small, ancient-looking Buka grimoire he had found in his research. Flipping to a marked page, he began reading aloud an incantation to banish the spirits. The air grew colder, and the spirits' howls became deafening. But slowly, they began to fade, drawn back into the chest by the power of the incantation. One by one, they disappeared, their anguished faces dissolving into the ether. When the last spirit was gone, the room fell silent. Michael, exhausted but triumphant, carefully closed the chest and secured it with the cloth. He knew that he couldn't leave the chest here, it was too dangerous. With great effort, Michael transported the chest to a remote location, where he performed a final ritual to seal it forever. He buried it deep in the ground, placing protective wards around the site to ensure that it would never be disturbed again. Returning to the village, Michael felt a sense of peace for the first time in years. He knew that his sister's spirit, along with the others, was finally at rest. The Manor of Shadows, now truly empty, would stand as a silent testament to the horrors that had once resided within. The village, unaware of Michael's heroic deed, noticed the change immediately. The strange lights and ghostly wails ceased, and the manor became just another old, abandoned building. But for Michael, it was the place where he had finally found closure and ensured that no one else would suffer the same fate as his sister.